Welcome back, everyone. So, in these two boxes are the solutions to all of our floor care needs. At least that's what the advertisement said. So for those of you who've been watching my channel for a while, you might recall I've had a succession of Kirby's that I've gotten for almost nothing to very little money. And I happen to like the Kirby vacuums because they're just so well made. They also have the most suction of any vacuum I think you can buy legally without breaking federal laws. That all aside, they're very heavy. And if you have mostly hardwood floors, they're pretty much impractical. I mean, yes, you can vacuum a hardwood floor with a Kirby with the floor attachment, or with the hose and wand and all that stuff. But that's not really what it was designed for. It was really designed for cleaning carpeting. And once upon a time, American households were often filled with wall-to-wall carpeting. But I think a lot of consumers are eschewing carpet floors for hard surface, either a laminate, hardwood, tile, or something in between. So the old-fashioned Kirby's, as wonderful as they are, you know, they're also very inconvenient. They're clunky. They're heavy. My girlfriend absolutely hates the Kirby vacuum to the point where she will never use it. And, you know, it broke my heart. But, you know, I got to make her happy too. So this is the solution. This is the Dyson V11 Animal. You know, I have spent, and one of my viewers commented in one of my videos that I've spent a lot of time bashing Dysons, and here I am buying one. I bash the Dysons for a couple of reasons, and I mean, really, they're cool looking, for sure. And, you know, for a non-Kirby vacuum, they have terrific suction. So my parents hauled off and bought a Dyson back in 2007 or 2008 or so, right around the time I moved out of their house. And they still have it. Now, my dad has rebuilt the vacuum at least once, and so he's done some work to it, but it's still going. It's actually, with the exception of their Rainbow vacuum, yes, they actually bought a Rainbow back in 1986 or 87, which they still have, and yes, it still works. It has been the longest lasting vacuum they have ever owned. So I decided that what I wanted to do is find a vacuum that was lightweight. I wanted cordless. So we've reached a point technologically where we can have battery-powered lawnmowers, for God's sakes, that actually work pretty well. Battery technology has improved a lot in the past decade or two, and I figured battery-powered vacuum, what would be better than that, right? You just grab the, oh, I made a mess. Grab the vacuum, clean it up. I mean, not dick around with extension cords, plugs, find a plug. Oh no, now we need to unplug the lamp. Crap. Now I gotta find a place to plug it in. Oh shit, the cord's all over the floor. I'm tripping over the cord. I'm making a mess. Oh fuck, I just knocked over the planter. Now there's broken glass everywhere because I had to, you know what I'm saying? That's my life right there. So one of the criticisms I've always had with these Dysons is just the sheer amount of plastic that is in these guys. There's so much plastic. Everything is plastic. Whereas at a Kirby, everything is metal, right? So here's the power head. Now I heard one of the criticisms for the V11 is that unlike the V10, the V10 came with a roller designed specifically for hard surfaced floors, and this one comes with this, which is really just a standard roller. Look at the little wheels. Look at that. Dysons are not a bad product. Not a bad product at all. Now, what I like about this one is that it's wall mountable, and that is an empty box. That is an empty box. Yeah, I need to get that empty. You also get this little mini roller. It's so cute. A mini roller. A little mini roller. Look at that. You can clean furniture. You can clean upholstery with that guy. So this is what they call a stick vac. And here's the wall mount charger. Little docking station cradle looking dude. There's that. Interesting how they went with a metallic finished plastic, but you can see how the metallic particles flowed into the mold. I'm not really a big fan of these metallic finished plastics because they don't, I mean, I don't know if the marbling is a feature or a flaw, but you know, you can see how it flowed into the cavity in the mold. Undocumented feature, unintended consequence, who knows. Here's our wall plate. Now this sucker is going to be anchored to the wall. I'm going to be using a product called the Toggler bolts. They're not like toggle bolts, but they're a little different. I'll demonstrate that in a minute. We have hard plaster walls, and they don't like to have things mounted to them. But the one thing that seems to work pretty consistently is the toggle bolts. Whoa, it actually turned on. Cool. So the V11 comes in two flavors, two trim levels, if you will. The V11 Animal, this thing is heavy. V11 Animal and the V11 Torque Drive. And the Torque Drive is a couple hundred dollars more. I paid, this sucker cost, I think it was $500. And it included, if I bought it directly from Dyson, it also came with that box there. We're going to take a look at that in a minute. But here's the vacuum. Digitally controlled motor. Battery is not charged. I'll to do that. I'll put that there. So that's basically the meat and potatoes of the vacuum. That's the whole thing. All unboxed. I'm going to save this box in case I have to ship it off. Take a look at the owner's manual. Put all the shit back in the box. Whoa! I can't move it! Alright, let's change the height here. I thought it was automatic. I can't physically move it on the carpet. So it's on auto. Let's change it to eco. It's just too much, there's too much suction. Oh my god. Wow. I think you have to kind of go like a little bit. See, the Kirby has self-driving abilities. That's a lot of suction right there. Probably a little more than I needed. So it's supposed to automatically determine whether it's on a, you put it on auto. It's supposed to tell whether it's on a hard surface or, yeah, there we go. But yeah, let's see. I think that might be a height adjuster. Oh my god. Yeah, I can't move it. I'll have to read the instructions. I'm sure there's something I'm doing wrong. But there's just way too much suction. But you can see it's already cleaned. I already vacuumed this rug with the Kirby just about a day or two ago. And look at all the crap it already found. Okay, so I got the new Dyson mounted to the wall. One thing I want to point out is the anchors are critical when you're anchoring this to your wall. This vacuum is very heavy, and you can see that there's a lot of flex and bowing going on here with this plate. So what you want to do is use some heavy-duty anchors. I'm going to show you what I'm using. These are an amazing product. They come in a variety of different sizes, and a couple different manufacturers make these. But what it's like a toggle bolt, only the difference between this and a toggle bolt is this can be, you can remove the anchor screw from this and it won't fall into the wall cavity. So these right here, you drill a 1/2 inch hole and you use your fingers, this little device here, to turn it sideways. The anchor slides into the wall, and then you turn it like that to even these pieces up. And inside the wall, it's like a toggle bolt. Then you take this little zip thing here. This is what anchors it into the wall when there's no bolt in there. So you slide this again. This actually will slide up against the wall along this zip track here, and it firmly anchors it in. You then break off the pieces on the outside of the wall, the plastic pieces that are remaining. You snap those off, and you've got this nice anchor point. So then you drive one of your screws into the center of this hole here, where it threads into the cleat on the end on this side. But then the good thing about this is then you can take the screw out and mount whatever you want and put the screw back in. So you don't. And with a toggle bolt, once you slide that toggler into the hole, you cannot remove that screw or fastener without losing it in the wall permanently. So these are a great product, and they can hold a shitload of weight. That is a technical term. They are a little pricier, but with this vacuum, you do not want to skimp out on fasteners. You do not want to thread it into drywall, and that's it. The problem that I'm having here, ideally you'd want it anchored directly to a stud, but there are no studs in this bay right here. So the anchoring into a stud was not an option. So that is what I did, and it's holding quite well. But we're going to let it charge on its little charging station, and let's take a look at what's in box number 2. So box number 2, this came shipped separately, and it contains, so when you buy the vacuum directly from Dyson, looking for something there should be scissors here. When you buy the vacuum directly from Dyson, what you get is an option, at least for now. It's a promotional deal where you can get any one of a variety. They give you an option. You can choose which kit you want. And I chose the hard floor cleaning kit. It was what they claimed to be a $75 value. Act now or lose out on your $75 value. So this comes with this adapter tool cord free. Okay, don't know what that is yet. And it comes with this. I think there were like 4 to 5 different kits to choose from. This is what I was after. This is what they replaced the soft brush roller, or it looked like a paint roller. This is what replaces that, and this is for hard surface cleaning. Okay. And then you get this. Don't know what that, I don't see any instructions. Oh wait, here's the instructions, I think. I'll have to read those. Okay, what do we got here? Oh, a little mini hard surface floor cleaner. A $75 value. Yours free if you act now. Okay. This one, this is a lot like the one that I was using with the Kirby. That's interesting. I'll have to read the instructions and see how I'm supposed to use those. The pamphlet that it comes with. What it's saying is, for all the vacuums except for the DC 11, 10, 9, Anyway, it looks like you don't need the adapter, but for the other vacuums you do. So this should connect directly to the end of the stick vacuum. Okay, I'll take that. And I bet you that's what this is going to show me too. Like, I don't need the adapter if I have my Dyson V11. Yeah, pretty much. Yep, okay. So there's your hard floor surface, or hard surface cleaning. There's two different sizes with the adapters. Genuine Dyson. Something is gonna go down. There he goes. Watch this. If you were able to hold off your comments until the end of the video, this is for you. And for those of you who weren't. So, this control here on the power head does not adjust for height. What it actually does is it adjusts these air bypass, or suction bypass dams. And if you have a hard surface, you can leave these suckers all the way down or closed, and that gives you the maximum amount of suction. That could be useful for, let's say, a Berber carpet. If you have a Berber carpet, this might be a good idea. Or something with very low pile, minimal pile. Another example would be the indoor-outdoor rugs that are quite common. People use them on their porches. But for the most part, if you've got cut pile carpet, you probably want to leave those maybe all the way in the downward or upward position. So there's that. Now let's talk about how to maintain the vacuum. Since I've got the power head in my hands right now, I'm going to show you how to pull the brush roll out. It's pretty simple. You can use a coin or a butter knife or maybe even a spoon. And what you want to do is this end cap here with the slot in it. There's a little slot there. You take your spoon or whatever you have and you just rotate it anti-clockwise, and it'll start to pull itself out. And that whole cap just comes right out very gently. There's rubber seals on everything on this vacuum, so you want to be pretty careful with those. The whole brush roll comes out like that, and you can clean it, replace it, whatever you got to do. I want to point out another thing. So this is a newer version of the Dyson V11 Animal. Now the older versions allegedly had a lot of issues with breakage on this ring here. Supposedly Dyson had made some changes to the design of this vacuum to eliminate that problem. Secondly, I want to point this little bit of engineering out too. There is no belt drive on this brush roll. It is a direct drive motor, so there's no belt to replace. They used a fairly high torque motor for this application, I imagine. I'd like to see a teardown video of this vacuum, and I'm not willing to do it on mine, so be that as it may. There's a little bit of dust bunnyage there going on. I'm going to get that out while I have this apart. Let's pull that. There we go. Save that for later. There's another one. But that's how you pull the brush head or power head, whatever you want to call it, apart. You know, one nice thing about Dyson and Kirby and other more expensive vacuums, Miele, and you can actually get parts for these. So it's not like if it breaks or something breaks, you have to throw the whole vacuum away and buy a new one. You can get parts for this vacuum pretty easily. You know, they're a quality machine. You know, they're not junk, for sure. Everything on this vacuum is plastic except for the aluminum pole. So there's going to be some things are going to break. This is not, this is not a Kirby. Let's just get that out of the way. This is not your Kirby. Kirby's have way more suction than this. They cost more, but they have a lot more suction and they're built to last. This one, they claim a battery lifespan of 12 years, or no, was it 15 years? It was longer than I would expect, and, we'll see what happens. Now, these rollers are actual they feel like ball bearing rollers, which is impressive, even for this price range. I wouldn't expect that. But it's built the way it's built, It's got this nice satin finish, a purple satin finish. I like the color. You might think I wouldn't like the color, being that I'm a dude and all, but I like it. I think it stands out. This is a nice pliable rubber. This is not hard plastic. This is a nice touch. This is probably going to wear out. I'm sure it's replaceable for a nominal service charge. We'll see what happens. But the power head is very similar in design to the commercial vacuums that I see people using at work. The custodial staff, they use the head is actually the head on their vacuums is hard plastic, and all it really does, and they use it on hard surfaces. All it does is scratch the shit out of the freshly waxed floors. But hey, that's not my job. That's not my problem. Already hair stuck in it, but there you go. Now the vacuum itself, which has basically a handheld canister vac. You've got attachments that can be added directly to this. So you don't even need to use the one. If you really wanted to, you could attach the power head directly, and I do mean directly, to the vacuum to have, a custom little. It's like a space weapon of some kind. But you could do this if you want to. They pretty much built the vacuum like Legos. So it's highly customizable. And what's even cooler are some accessories from other models of the Dyson V-Series stick vacuums are compatible with this unit. What makes the V11 different, or one little feature that's different from the V10 that preceded it, is the filter housing. You can actually see right through the filter housing. It is a translucent violet colored plastic, and this simply twists off, and there's your filter. You can wash this, and that is the instructions are to wash this in the sink in hot water. I don't think you're supposed to use any soap or detergent, but it is a washable filter, so they say. We'll see how that goes. And when it wears out, you can replace it. But this is pretty nice design. To empty the dirt cup, I'm going to put this over my sink. Emptying the dirt cup is fairly simple. You've got this little red lever here. You just aim it, push it down, like so. It opens up, the dirt comes out. And if you want to wash the canister, you can do that too. There's another little red pull. It's a little tab you press down. It says 1 on it. Press that down, and the whole thing slides off. And then you can kind of dust off or clean up the vacuum itself, or clean out the canister. Just that simple. There aren't like 100 filters to replace like some vacuums that I've had in the past, where there's a washable filter here, a non-replaceable filter there, or a very expensive filter that I'd have to pay good money for. Yeah, it's a nice vacuum. I really like it. One word of caution: when you wash this filter, you need to make sure that you let it dry for a minimum of 24 hours before you put it back in, because the moisture will condense onto the motor and the electronics and destroy them. That would be a shame. The battery on the V11 is replaceable, and you can have multiple battery packs. If you have a larger home and you want, if you want to, hair trigger there, if you want to vacuum the whole house with this thing and your one battery doesn't do it for you, this whole thing pops right out. And it can be placed in the charging dock by itself without any issues. And then you can have another one on there as a hot spare, and bada boom, bada bing. One thing about Dyson vacuums that I find intriguing, they look like they're overstyled child's toys, and for that they probably could be. These little, these ridges around the edge, around the whole rim of the vacuum body, they are not there for decoration, although I'm sure when they designed the vacuum they took that into consideration. They look cool, but they're not there for decoration. These are actual mini vortex generators, little chambers, each one of these. And if you were to take this unit apart, you would find that they're a functional part of the vacuum's design. That's part of why it creates so much suction with such a tiny motor. It's actually quite incredible the way they designed this vacuum. I love the way it looks. It works really well, but you know, am I a Dyson convert? Am I going to give up my Kirby forever and just buy Dysons from now on? No, that's not going to be the case. I'm actually going to be keeping the Kirby because it does have a lot of uses for me, especially downstairs in the shop area. The Kirby vacuum can take abuse like no other vacuum can, and it sucks a lot more than the Kirby or than the Dyson does. This thing now in boost mode, this thing has so much suction in boost mode. If I put it on boost, I mean, but one thing that it'll do is if you cover it up, it thinks that the filter is blocked, so it tells you the filter's clogged, and then it goes away. Just a fantastic machine. That's what it is. Just fantastic. But as I said earlier, this base is super flimsy. It is mounted solidly to this wall, and I don't like it. There is an aftermarket or third. Actually, no. I think Dyson makes it. Yeah, I think Dyson makes this. But there is there's an optional stand that the vacuum can sit on if you don't want to mount this to your wall. And I'd probably go, if it weren't as expensive as it is, I'd probably go that route myself. But this thing, I think what I'm going to do is just either charge the battery by itself or just the actual motor housing by itself without the stick attached, because I just feel like this is going to break. It should be reinforced with a steel plate. They should have done a better job with this. This is crap. I'm just going to say it. It is crap. I didn't have the option of screwing it directly to a stud in this closet. That is not Kirby's problem. Or, I said Kirby. That's not Dyson's problem. But they need to design the base so that it's a little stiffer, a little more durable. It is a disappointment to end all disappointments. And that was one of the main selling points. It has a wall mount. That was a selling point for me. I'm a little disappointed in that. I'll live with it. It's fine. I'm not going to complain to the manager, but it is. You have to know if you're looking for a vacuum to mount on the wall, place this thing somewhere out of the way where it won't get bumped. And I mean, it is against the wall. I mean, I couldn't do a better job if I tried. But anyway. So this is how I'm going to do it. I'm just going to mount it like that. Keep this extra weight off of it, and that'll be it. If Dyson ever does come up with a better stand or wall mount for this sucker, I'll be first in line for it. But that's all for now. It's a great vacuum with that one little hiccup. I don't like that wall mount, but it's a terrific vacuum. Plenty of accessories. I haven't used any of the other ones yet. Now this little guy, this one is belt driven. It has a more conventional motor, it looks like, in there, and it's belt driven, but I don't think anyone's going to wear out that belt anytime soon. But one other gripe is, and it's not really a gripe, it's more of a, like, what the hell were they thinking? You can't, all the accessories that come with the vacuum don't have a place to clip onto, so you're going to have something sitting on a shelf. That's why I redesigned this whole closet. I mean, for the most part, it's because I, need a place to put things, but, this can't be mounted next to that, because they don't fit on here. But for the most part, I mean, that doesn't really matter. It's still a great product, and I'd buy it again. I think I'd probably go with the V10, though. I don't need all the suction the V11 has. I probably should have gone with the V10 and saved a little bit of money. But I'm very happy with this one, and that's all for now. Thank you for watching.